Hey, good morning, all my brothers in recovery. Hopefully, everyone's having another amazing day, another amazing 24 hours, living happy, joyous, and free in the sober life. This morning, today's Veterans Day, and I wanted to talk a little bit about memory. Uh, Everyone kind of falls into this alcoholism thing for different reasons, you know. But I found for most people that I talk to, it's usually a combination of three different things. First, you have sort of a genetic predisposition. So that's not to say that just because your dad or your grandparents or whomever was an alcoholic that you're going to be, but it doesn't help. So you start with a genetic predisposition. Then there's trauma. And then there's opportunity. And that's pretty much that's how I think all addictions start. And opportunity, I mean, that's where you get, people. You've got painkillers, crack. Crack is getting way out of control again, and no one's really talking about it. But that's where I think addiction comes from: genetic predisposition, trauma, and opportunity. And as a veteran myself, and someone who has a lot of friends who are in the military and who went through their own versions of trauma, I can say it is absolutely just a catalyst for self medication, which is what it all kind of comes down to. Those traumatic events happen, and we have the opportunity to self medicate. And then, in a lot of cases, with addiction to painkillers and stuff like that, you can go through a physical trauma and actually, have a doctor give you a note. There's your opportunity. You don't even have to make an excuse. Someone with 8 years of schooling just said you can take these pills to make the pain go away. But then you start using them too much and you wind up in that addiction cycle. And it all just comes down to trying to treat that trauma without actually facing the trauma. And self medication through alcohol is the way that I think a lot of people get into this kind of situation where you get into your addiction. Uh, and that takes on a lot of different faces. Trauma isn't just blocking out the memories, getting blackout drunk so that you don't remember. That's part of it. But there's other pieces of it too. There's pieces of it where you're used to having your adrenaline so high that you just drink throughout the day because everything is so boring and you just want the day to be over. Or at least when you're drunk, think time seems to move a little bit quicker and you can deal with it. Everything's a little bit more interesting because you've got a buzz on. Even the mundane becomes something like a party if you can just be drinking your way through it. So there's myriad of reasons, but memory is a big one. You can't have nightmares if you're blackout drunk. True story, and it works. That's one thing I've said throughout all of the groups that I go to and throughout counseling and all that. You say what you want about alcohol, it works. It works incredibly well for what it wants to do, which is why, you know, people wouldn't get addicted to it if it didn't work. And that goes for anything. But all in all, when it comes down to dealing with our traumas, it's one of the most difficult things is to actually face them and not try to cloud it, not try to forget and actually just look it dead in the eyes, accept it for what it is, and move on. And acceptance is hard, but there's a reason that the serenity prayer is what it is. It's grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change. And that's hard, but it's liberating. Learning to just accept things when they're bad and kind of go through the stages of grief quickly. Don't ignore them, but you can go through them pretty quickly and then get to acceptance. It actually helps. You get bad news, something bad happens. The tire explodes while you're driving to work, and you got to change it on the side of the road. Now you're going to be late. Yada yada. I accept that. Nothing I can do about it. Now I just have to accept it. It's freeing. It's liberating. And that goes along with our trauma. That goes along with our addiction. Being honest with ourselves, facing the things that we've gone through, getting the help and the treatment that we need to get, and not just try to hide behind a bottle or a pill. It's hard. But as soon as we have that acceptance and we have the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, and the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference, that's how we're on the path to happy, joyous, and free. I hope you all have a great day. Remember, it's dangerous to go alone.